And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is that you are in the world. Welcome to Living World of Darkness, New York by night. And this night, closely after sundown, um, Rose will open up a laptop in the apartment that she's renting, and will immediately send out a email to Frank Green. She's basically saying, I would like to speak to you as soon as possible. I saw something that might be of your personal interest. If you would be kind enough to contact me as soon as you can. Greetings, Rose. She sends it.
Right. It actually takes a little bit for Rose to get a response. It seems for some odd reason, Frank Green himself seems to be rising from his day torpor a little bit later than usual, a little bit later than he's used to anyways. But and seeing the email from Rose, goes ahead and types up a quick response and says, yes, sure, where, when?
Rose replies, I'm at my apartment, could meet up there, or if you want to meet someplace else, just name the place and time.
Frank Green goes ahead and types up a quick response. Midway, Franklin Island, South Tip Park. 30 minutes.
Rose replies, we'll be there. And with that, she closes the laptop and goes on her way almost immediately. Wearing the veil, of course, and also going obfuscated.
Right, as soon as she goes over the thoroughfare from Manhattan Island proper to the strip of land known as Franklin Island, she'll get a few more, she got a few instructions from her email to go ahead and follow a dog called Lucky. And when she does reach the southern tip of Franklin Island towards that park, a dog comes up to her and howls at her. It has the natural fear of kindred pulsing through its veins, but it seems to have a dog tab.
Rose stops as she sees the dog. Makes sure that no one sees her as she comes out of obfuscate, and we'll just look at this dog. Are you lucky?
It has a horseshoe all around its collar, and it seems to spell out the lucky on the collar, but when you talk to the dog, it simply growls and barks at you and then runs away.
Great. Rose starts following the dog. She is not a very big fan of it herself, but, well, if Frank wants her to follow this dog, then sure.
It doesn't take much time at all, as Rose will finally find herself within the confines of a utility shed. A shed that the dog has apparently just rushed into the door open, and there you will see Frank Green amongst the lawn care equipment.
Rose will pause at the door and she will knock politely, waiting.
And Frank Green just looks at you through the open threshold and in.
Rose steps in. Well, this is an interesting meeting spot. So, I'm sorry to disturb you so early at night, but I got something that might be very important for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it safe to talk here? Yes, it is.
Of course it's safe to talk here. It's better than talking out there.
Very well. And Rose will push back the veil and she just looks around quickly. She begins to talk. Uh, I got another thing that I saw. Um, was in the forest, daytime. Um, was real. It was almost lifelike. I could just drink water and stuff like that. I was standing in the middle of forest, but that doesn't really matter for you at this point, I think. Where it becomes interesting is I was at the river and I saw eggshells just drifting past. And it caught my interest, so I decided to check. And then there was a small nest with one egg still in it that was coming towards me, drifting towards me. And it halted against my body, so I took it up. I took up the egg. I held it close. It was so delicate that it started to crack a little bit when I held it. Mm, um, well, I thought of the other visions I had with the eggs, and I thought this might be the last one. So I followed it to where it came from, upstream. Followed it for quite a while until I reached an island, a very small island. When I came at that island, there was a pelican next to a nest. When I looked into the nest, there were more broken eggs. There were hearts dried up in it. All the eggs were broken, of course. There's nothing left except for this one egg that I held. The pelican was standing there, seemed a little bit afraid of me, but didn't move. And I showed the pelican the egg, but I was kind of afraid that it might have been the pelican who broke the other egg, so I was taking a few steps back. I didn't want to damage the final egg. And the pelican, at his turn, it just moved towards me very slowly. It didn't want to scare me away, and as it got closer, his eyes, or its eyes, they were red and they started to cry. And they cried blood. It was a pelican who cried blood. And one of the teardrops just flowed down its beak and it fell upon the egg. As soon as it reached the egg, the cracks in the egg vanished and it became whole again. And that's when my vision ended.
So, Rose, what does this tell you?
A few things. What do you think the egg stands for at this point?
Time we continue to waste. Time that we continue to go ahead and feather on to our own little avenues. Every single night is one last egg. Every single night is one last opportunity to actually do something to save or to protect And because there's so many broken eggshells, that means so much time has been wasted doing other things. Now, those things may have been wonderful in their own right, may have benefited a lot of the kindred, but that's still a bunch of broken eggs.
But the egg that I held in that vision, what did it stand for, Frank? Give it a name. Just one name.
I know what name I want to give it.
Say it.
Gonna make me do this, Rose? Here? Gonna make me do it? Right here? In the shed?
I'm sorry, but I need to make sure that you understand everything about this vision. At least for as far as I understand it.
I don't. I do know. I do know, and it scares me. It scares me beyond all reason that it should. I don't understand it, but I do. I know the symbols. I just don't know the narrative. I don't know the story. I don't know how this ends.
Do you know,
And that terrifies me.
did you understand the Pelican?
With the pelican, I feel very, very familiar with the egg.
Think about it. If the egg stands for what we think, or who we think it stands for, then who would the Pelican be, Frank? Who is the one who has lost others already here in New York? I'm sorry. And Rose walks over and she just places her hand on Frank's shoulder. But I think that we might have a chance tonight in making sure that the egg.
Aragos. Aragos was so strong, so foolish. Artis, so headstrong, so ignorant. Elena, so clever. Maybe too clever. Maybe not afraid of the dark as he should be. That Pelican, it might be me. The egg might be Elena. Might be. I don't really know.
No,
I want it to be.
nothing is ever certain in these visions, but I have the same feeling. That's why I came to you as quick as I could.
You were carrying the egg. You were carrying the egg.
That doesn't say a thing. That doesn't say a thing. I was the one seeing the vision. I don't
No,
necessarily have to be the one carrying it.
it means something, Rose. It means something. It means that any grudge I have against you over anything that happened to my clan was unfounded. That I've been holding this grudge against you for far, far too long. I'm sorry for that.
Look, you have every right to be angry at me. And I never held it against you, never will. If it hadn't been for me, things would have been different. And I'm sorry. I truly am.
I was just trying to. We were just trying to. We were all just trying to make best out of a bad situation. I do miss. I do miss Howard. I really do. Howard was a good kindred.
Miss it. Well, that's to say, of course, I still have part of him. But it's different.
A forest. An island.
A river.
A well. A well of blood. Frank Green is I'm going to go ahead and absentmindedly pull one of the pull cords for the lawnmower, and the engine will go ahead and rattle a little bit when I actually start. The blades will go ahead and start to spin. Right. Right. Rose.
Yes.
Okay. 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 I do not know how much longer I will stay in the city. I do not know how much longer I will live in the city. But if I should go missing for an extended period of time, I want you to go to Leonardo Studios and ask for a man named Jack. Jack's my retainer. He holds the Last Testament in a form of an analog video. It's a VHS if you ever had one of those, and he'll provide a player if you need it.
Mm-hmm.
As of now, the people that are currently working on this investigation are
Oh fuck.
in pursuit of
I'm
Ghost for
sorry.
herself has
You broke up there.
right.
You broke up there. Either I froze or you did, but I didn't hear a thing.
All right. Frank
It's happening
looks at
again.
you. Would you pay attention? This is important.
Yes. Mm.
Everybody who's working on this case, I'm
Mm-hmm.
currently deputizing, will be able to exercise the right of the sheriff should they need to. Ghost, who has been the hound pro tempore for quite a while, gets to lose that pro tempore status towards the end of it. Okay. There is currently a VHS tape within the hands of one of my retainers that holds my last will and testament. Should I meet final death?
Um, so everybody involved in the investigation gets, if you're not around, rights to act in the name of the sheriff, and should anything bad happen to you, VHS over at Leonardo's studios, a guy named Jack.
Exactly.
Frank, why are you saying this now?
Because if I don't say it now, it'll be very, very disastrous later. So should the worst happen.
I don't want the worst to happen.
None of us do.
Fine. Anything else?
Let's see, anything else? Anything else? Ghost being hound, deputizing people, it's my last will and testament. Right. I don't have anything else at the moment.
Okay. Anything I can do for you?
I want you to imagine the place that's completely and utterly free of distraction. The kind of place that's cold and dark, but comforting at the same time. Doesn't have to, sometimes it is warm, sometimes it's light, but most of the time it's like a long, long, deep sleep.
Yes.
I think at one point or another we all deserve a long, long sleep.
If that's what you need.
That's what everybody wants at one point or another. I'm pretty damn certain. After a long, long, extended existence, people want to go to sleep. What distracts them?
The ones they care about.
Loved ones, duties, all these things. All these things. Well, why would that be so important when you're in that deep, deep sleep? When you're in that deep, deep sleep, none of that really matters to you. None of that really even occurs to you.
Maybe not, but when you're not, they give meaning to our existence.
I don't know, Rose. I just don't know. Is that the purpose? Make these kind of small connections before we go ahead and take the big dive?
I think it depends. For some, it's more important than for others. But I've only seen you care so much about others. Seen you work so hard. Get hurt a lot, but is it still worth it? I think if I look at you, I think it is.
New York is a terrible, terrible place.
Maybe, but it's home.
Home to you, maybe.
Home to others.
Home to a lot, lot more.
Well, it's up to you in the end. I can understand if you want to take some time away from this place and this existence. A lot has been going on in the last few months. But I still think that this particular case there is at least a chance on a good ending.
Oh no, 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 I'm not giving up on this. I am not giving up on this. I'm gonna gangrel my way through this if I have to. Because the gangrel in this city still have a good name. If I drop this case now, that name goes to utter piss. Gangrel are still independent, no matter what I tell myself.
That is true. But then again, I've heard people say that we are still persons despite what clan we belong to. We're still individuals. We don't necessarily do what we should, or what our clan expects us to do. Else I would have been a lot more violent, I think, by now.
I don't know. I don't know about the different bloodlines that you hail from. All I know is that the next time that an elder tells me that I need to go to a city in order to preserve the good name of our clan, I'll tell them to fuck off. But you've been good. You've been good. A lot of new people have been good too. A lot of old people too.
Yes.
Those of us that are still around, I don't think I have a bad bone to pick with any of them.
That's a good thing.
And even those that are few of us that have met some kind of ending, I think I could see a good in their end. I think I could see things their way.
When someone ends, we are inclined to see the good parts of them.
I don't know what happened to Mr. Peck.
Neither do I.
I've always found himself, or himself at least, a little bit more controlling than he ought to be, a little bit more cold and static than he should, a little bit more rigid and unliving, but towards the end of it, he showed me how well he could maintain Elysium.
It's a hard thing to do, and he works hard for it.
Dr. Howard softly. He was an industrious man, very, very studious and competent. An elder just by tint of his personality rather than his age that I do not know. Paragos was strong, Paragos was capable, Paragos was foolish. And Rock simply wanted a place to be. Couldn't find it.
If only we could turn back time.
Of course, Mr. Thursday was always the manic one of us. But I hope that Coteries' work doesn't go entirely to piss, entirely to waste. I want people to open up Ventru's Towers again. I want this city to at least be running the way it was when I came in.
I'm sure you've put the right people to the right tasks.
But have I set myself up the right task for myself?
I don't see New York without you. But in the end, it's your decision.
I'll lose control. The fate of the city shouldn't be tied to one kindred.
It's not. It's tied to a few. Mr. Silas, you. I guess Miss Sheridan. Limely Ghost. Mr. Peck. Dr. Softly. All of them at their place. Still have. I don't see the city without you, but that doesn't mean that it won't go on. None of us are replaceable.
Good. Good. That was the longest time ago, wasn't it? I remember North Brother Island. I honestly do remember North Brother Island. How freaky deaky that was. And looking back to all the kindred that went on that particular adventure and how much still remained, even Brock's shotnet is burned to death by Marquez's stupid escape attempt. He lost the most of it. He lost the most. His employer, Marquez, betrayed him personally and then caused his own death. That's a kindred that we should not forget.
I'm afraid I never had the pleasure of meeting this gentleman.
He's a very good bartender.
Frank, what about Elena? If we manage to get her back. She needs you.
I have no doubt that she will need me. But I don't think she'll need this city.
I see.
All I want to do is take that girl home, help her, if there is even anything to bring back.
We will find out soon, I think.
We do have that next venue. We do have that next venue.
Yes.
I wish I had something to toast here. I wish I had something to drink to.
I'm sorry I did not bring any. But if you want to, we can get some somewhere.
No. I usually drink alone these nights.
I see. Well, shall I leave you then?
Frank Green is going to go ahead and walk out of the shed. Frank Green is going to go ahead and hum to himself. Frank Green is simply going to go ahead and mouth some words, some lyrics that he knows. Should I stay or should I go now? If I stay, it could be trouble. If I go, it could be double. He goes ahead and continues to walk out into the park, not even caring if Rose is following, obfuscated or not, as he simply goes ahead and hums, mumbles, sings a few words to himself.
And I think that will be a good place to end the scene. Everybody, thank you for watching.